We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race. We hold it tight in every space, making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last. Making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last.
It's time for another conversation. Welcome to Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, with other people. We have a certified financial planner this time around. Her name is Shannon Ryan. Welcome, Shannon.
Hi, Noreen. Thank you for having me.
She's been working with people for money for over 30 years. I had to ask her if she started before we started recording. She started doing this at 10. But anyway, I won't tell you her age, but anyway. So we spoke a little bit about this for the recording, but I do want people to get a context. What influenced you doing this? Over 30 years, that's a long time.
Yeah.
What got you into this?
So, Noreen, I have had a fascination around money since I've been 13 years old, and not the typical fascination. Most people are
Okay.
fascinated with money because they want to have more. They're interested in a stock or a bond, or they just want money. I've always
Mhm.
been fascinated with the human being's response to money, meaning how we interact and the behavioral side of money.
Why?
Because I started to observe when I was young. I was out on a walk with my father, and one of the men in our city, who was one of the wealthiest men, was building this huge house. And I was 13 and loved shoes, loved shoes. This man had tennis shoes on, and they literally had mold growing around the edge of the shoe. And I remember my dad stopped and talked to this man, and we walked away. And of course, 13-year-old me said, Dad, he is the wealthiest man in our city. Why does he have mold growing on his shoes? And my father said to me, Shannon, it's because he does not care what you think about his shoes. He's comfortable in those shoes. They fit his feet, they feel good, and he's making that decision for himself financially, not to impress you. And that stuck with me, Noreen. I was so fascinated that he was choosing not to flash, but to choose what he wanted to wear because he was comfortable with his relationship with money.
Which is a nice segue into what we're going to be unpacking this time around, how your money has feelings.
Mhm.
Tell us what is meant by that.
So I have recently published a book called Your Money Has Feelings. And of course, money doesn't feel anything. Really, it's a play on words to say that our response to money has feelings. We all carry what I call emotional scar tissue and really wounds with us from experiences with money, whether remembering your parents fighting over money when you were young,
Mm-hmm.
losing
Mm-hmm.
a job, or just being hungry. We all form a reaction to money, and that is carried throughout our whole life. And I have observed over 30 years of working with people that if we don't understand our feelings around money, it can actually keep us in poverty.
How do we and I like the analogy of the scars. How do we
Mhm.
remove, how do we get rid of, how do we overcome
Yeah.
all of that?
You'll never fully remove the experiences you've had in life. I mean, you won't. And I call it scar tissue because I feel that typically there's a wounding experience. When I was young, my parents got divorced at a very young age, and my father used money as power in the divorce. And so my mother would say, he's not giving us enough. My father would say, I'm giving your mother so much that we're going to be bankrupt. All I cared
Hmm.
about as a young child at 8 years old was, oh my gosh, we're going to be homeless. We don't have enough money. There's not enough money here. I have carried that throughout my life. And sometimes I've been overly cautious with money. And until I recognized why I was doing that and I could make a different choice, it
Mm-hmm.
limited my ability to invest well, to spend when I really wanted and could spend. I felt like I couldn't because everything could be gone tomorrow. So I'll always have those wounds. We always will carry the wound and the
Mm-hmm.
scar tissue, but just in recognition as to why we respond to money in ways that we do from that point of being hurt, that changes your ability to make a different decision.
I noticed you said that at one point you because of that you're overly cautious in terms of how you spend.
Yep.
How then, if you're, and you just said the wounds will always be there, how then will people be able to strike that balance then?
So, the way that I've worked with clients for years to strike that balance is helping people really identify what's most important to them. So, I will
Okay.
give you an example. We live in a society of shoulds. We are a society now of social media. We scroll. We feel like we should have, we should have the house, we should have the car,
Mm-hmm.
we should have a certain purse or whatever it is. And our wounds that we carry with us also have shoulds behind them. When we get really clear about what's most important to us around money, then we recognize what pain we carried, meaning our parents always
Mm,
argued over money, or my parents used it as power. Then we can identify when something triggers us, meaning when I want to buy something, I can afford it, it's within my budget, and yet I say, no, 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 Shannon, you can't have it. I start to realize that I'm living off of fear versus abundance and in alignment with my
mm,
goals as a result of that pain. And with good planning, I can make a different decision and not have to do what I think I should do based on somebody else, but I can align it with what I want. And that freedom comes with that.
mm. When you and this is universal. You
Mhm.
live in a society where you're constantly being nudged, being pushed to be consuming. And for you to be consuming, it means you're spending sometimes at some people what people don't have to impress others.
Yes.
How can people literally go against that?
Yeah. If you don't know what you really want and what you want personally, it's very easy to fall victim to that. In fact, so often I will talk to people and they say, Shannon, I just can't afford it. I want to travel with my family, but I don't make enough. I can't afford it. And when I
Mm-hmm.
start to look closer, so many of us, and Noreen, there are people in this world that have so little that they can't make any decisions around their money. They are
True,
just surviving. I
true,
recognize
true,
that.
true.
The rest of us do.
Mm-hmm.
And many of us allow the options that we had to flow through our hands on things that did not matter to us, meaning we spent to impress other people, but we never took the trip we really wanted to because we had to have the new purse or the new shoes, although we had 10 of them already. So I find that our wounds, we're trying to fill that
Mm-hmm.
old pain with stuff that doesn't matter to us. Now, if we truly sit down and identify what is most important to us, and you're out shopping or you see a new pair of shoes or someone's trying to influence you, you can easily say, that's wonderful because I can afford it, but I'm choosing not to because this is more important to me. I want to take this
Mm,
trip with my family. And once you start to retrain your brain to let go of having to keep up with everyone else on Instagram or whatever you're at, and you start aligning your resources, and we all have a different level of resources. So you start
mm-hmm.
aligning your resources, what's most important to you. The answer is rarely more money. Most people say, I just need to make more money. I'm like, or do you just need to use the money that you
Just yeah,
have?
yeah, manage it better.
Yeah, where
Mm-hmm.
you're going to find joy. And by the way, we are allowed to have joy with our money. Money is not evil, it is
Mm-hmm.
not bad. But we put those feelings on money. Money's evil, money's bad, I shouldn't want it. Money doesn't feel. You're projecting.
Mm. I love it. I love it. How do you think, though, the fact that a lot of us, in terms of how we're socialized and all that, money is seen as such a bad thing and wanting to have more is such a
Yeah.
bad thing. How do you think this has negatively impacted some our relationships?
I think it has deeply wounded many people, meaning that I think it's in a certain degree, it's a society expectation and
Mm-hmm.
that we should not want money, that we should not want to be more prosperous and financially. And I think we just keep each other all down. The reality is that we should, and not for the love of money, but for the choices and the opportunity that it gives you
Uh,
that you can make along the way. In fact, one of the things I had a client say, Shannon, I'm making so much money, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed with my family, my friends. I don't want to tell them because they'll think that I'm just greedy with money. And it's not that you have money, it's how you handle it and what you do with it. And I personally don't think money is evil. I think how some people handle it is
mm-hmm.
evil. If you're using money as power or to lord or over somebody or to say, hey, look what I have and not what you have, or to get a political position or something like that, the money isn't evil, by the way. The human being who's
Mm.
using it is
Uh-huh.
using it for evil. The money's not evil. So we're looking at the money is it's paper. It's not evil. The human being is the one who's misappropriating the money.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace.
I'm Shannon Ryan, and we're talking about your money has feelings. We're going to take a break and get a word from our partners.
Langdo Language Institute was created to meet your language and communication needs. All of our packages were created just for you. We are passionate about language and dedicated to your success. We offer the CSEC English program, the Study Buddy program, the Get Ahead with English program, and the Business Communication program. Contact us at 767-285-0938 or email us at landolanguage@gmail.com, because the real question is, how can we help you?
Does your business lack branding? Having difficulty realizing your vision? Look no further. Splint Brand Design Consultancy specializes in developing personal and business brands. Services include strategic management, website creation, social media branding, and more. Visit them online at www.wearesplint.com. Splint, the brand you need to succeed.
She's an MC for work or family, communicator with the remedy. Her service is high quality. Introducing Noreen Daly, host and founder of Making It Last, a fulfilling, engaging podcast. An exceptional woman for the task. Daily is the communication boss, the daily communicator. Will always make it greater and keep you reminiscing later. The daily communicator will always make it greater and keep you reminiscing later. Engaging, empowering, exceptional.
Welcome back. Let the conversation continue.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace.
How do you learn to handle your money though?
It's handling your money. It takes time to research how to really create a financial foundation and then
Okay.
to build into investing. But the basic step is making sure you've got a proper cash reserve and you keep your debt really, really as low or as none as possible. So you have the ability to save and to invest. And you can
Mm-hmm.
find all of this on the internet. You can Google it, how to build a financial life, how to invest. The problem is our emotions and our wounds get in the way and we blow it again. And we think, you know what, I'm worth it. I've had a tough week. I'm just going to spend all my money. I'm going to go into debt. I've paid my credit card off, but now I deserve this reward. And we put
Mm-hmm.
ourselves right back into the same old
Yep.
pattern. So
Yep.
the information is out there on how to build a solid financial plan. But why is more than 77% of people in the world reporting that they are not financially confident when you can get all the information off of Google? It's because of our emotions and reactions to money. Until we get that taken care of, we're going to keep doing the same things, the
Hmm.
same patterns over and over again.
Yeah. So I asked for the negative, but let me say the positive as
Yeah.
well. How can just how we see money and our feelings towards money actually have a positive impact on our
Yes.
relationships?
Yes. So relationships and what you talk about and making relationships last, money is one of the key cornerstones to most of our relationships. And it can have a huge positive impact if a partnership in money is in alignment, meaning that there's a lot of communication, exactly what you talk about, to make sure that you've got understanding of how each partner wants to use
Mm-hmm.
the money. But money is simply a tool. And if it's used appropriately in any relationship, it can be used to create retirement and all the things that you want for yourselves financially. Um, but money also is the number one thing that people fight about. And I think they fight about it out of their old wounds.
How you keep, literally going back to the whole idea of wounds and
Yeah.
scars. How, when, especially on average, I don't have any data to prove this, but on average, I think unless some persons are literally born into money, it's really as they get older that they are comfortable
Yep.
financially. So how then are they going to be able to move beyond all of what they've been socialized, so maybe for 20, 30 plus years, to be able to breathe financially, so to speak?
Yeah. So here's how I think about it. You and I came today
Mm-hmm.
with a heartbeat, right? When we walked in,
Mm-hmm.
both of our hearts were beating. That's
Mm-hmm.
that we're alive. We
Mm-hmm.
also basically walked into this meeting today with some baggage. We
Mm-hmm.
each carry experiences and memories in our lives around money. And in that baggage, your life experience, Noreen, and mine are completely different. But if you and I sat down and we were just going to talk about what happened in childhood in our life and the influences that impacted our thoughts about money, we would probably find a lot of common ground
Mm-hmm.
around what created some of those wounds. And once you identify what happened to you emotionally, because most of the time we don't think about it. And if we start to talk about it, all of a sudden we start to recognize it when it starts to creep into our thoughts. So my husband tells me, "Hey, Shannon, I'm going to go do this." And I'm like, "Oh, but what if we don't have enough money? What if we run out of money?" And so I get upset with him because he's off spending the money. And my wound is speaking, but I know it's my wound. So is it in alignment with our decisions to spend money together? Have we agreed this is how we're spending money? Then he needs to enjoy spending it if that's in alignment. And I need to enjoy letting him enjoy it. And so sometimes our wounds can show up as fear. It can show
Mm-hmm.
control. There's a lot of people that like to control other people around money. It can come in as shame, meaning that I'm ashamed that I make enough money to enjoy these nice things. There's so
Hmm.
many different emotions around it, but once you start to recognize like any other pattern of communication that you talk about, Noreen, it doesn't change overnight. But when you start to recognize it, you
Mm-hmm.
can't unsee it.
Final question. In your interactions over the years and working with people, do you see a major contrast between how females view money as opposed to men?
I do.
And what would be the major difference for you?
There's two major differences.
Okay.
The first one is that women don't have as much money confidence as men have, meaning they don't feel that they know as much. They have typically abdicated it to their fathers or their
Wow.
husbands or somebody else.
Okay.
And many people have felt that I just want to be taken care of. It's safer if I don't know the numbers. It's easier not to know. Ignorance is bliss. And that's how a lot of women get themselves in a lot of trouble because I will tell you, the men don't know it either. They'll pretend that they know, but they
They
don't,
don't know.
and they
Okay.
don't know. And so
Mm-hmm.
we have to be in charge of our own financial lives. And number two, women do not believe they're good investors or they could be good investors. There was a 30 or 40-year study, and I think it was out of Harvard,
Mm-hmm.
that basically tracked men and women investors. Do you know who the stronger investor was?
Men.
Women.
Wow.
Women. Stronger because we have a tendency to be patient. We invest, we don't jump in and out. And so the returns over time were better for women investors. So women have a great ability to be a very strong partner in the financial world with their spouse and for themselves, but we forget that. And I don't know why we do, but we do.
Hopefully a conversation like this will help to change that.
I
As
hope.
we're wrapping up, with all that you've said, if at the end of the conversation there's one main idea you'd want to leave with the viewers and the listeners, what would that main idea be?
There's so many. One of my favorite sayings is noli timere, which is Latin for be not afraid. Please don't be afraid to face your current financial situation. Don't be afraid to desire things and really know what you want for yourself financially. And last, do not be afraid to speak up for yourself and for your financial future.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for sharing, Shannon.
Thank you for having me.
This was Making It Last podcast. So it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. I'm Noreen Daly. Until next time.
We talk it out, no time to waste. Ooh, yeah. Face to face, we set the pace. Hey, hey. Love so strong, no need to race. We hold it tight in every space, making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping it fast. Communication, making it last. Making it last. Oh, making it last. Yeah, yeah. Through the future, through the past. Building it high, keeping